I had a big crush on this guy named Ryan from my freshman to senior year of high school. The problem was, he always had a girlfriend, and I don't think that he ever noticed me. To help with the story, I was an antisocial female who had a lot of self-esteem issues. Anyway, in my senior year, Ryan and his girlfriend broke up. Shortly after that, I got a DM from Ryan. I remember being so excited that he messaged me because I honestly thought that he had no idea who I was. His DM asked if I wanted to come to his place to Netflix and chill. To also help with the story, Ryan was definitely known as a player in my school, so this type of message did not surprise me. And like I said before, I had major self-esteem issues. That, mixed up with my huge crush on him, and I said yes to his Netflix and chill offer. I never should have. I get to his house on a Saturday night. His house was huge. He had a massive movie theater basement, and his parents were gone for the weekend. We sat down on this long couch they had in the movie theater basement and started to scroll through Netflix to pick a movie. Ryan was already putting his hands on my leg and back and getting very comfortable, even though this was the first time we'd actually hung out. Looking back on this, I knew these were red flags, but in the moment, I was inexperienced and didn't know how to detect them. As we kept scrolling through Netflix, Ryan suddenly kissed me. No warning, nothing. I remember how intrusive it was. I politely pushed him off, trying to laugh it off, saying that I'm not the best kisser. He said no problem, I'll warm up to him. He got up and said that he had to go to the bathroom. In my mind, I was already thinking that I was in way over my head here. He clearly is just using me as a rebound, since him and his girlfriend had just broken up. And I kept scrolling through Netflix, trying to calm myself down, when I clicked the wrong button on the remote. The TV screen went from the Netflix menu to a live feed of me sitting on the couch. I got off the couch, walked up to the TV. I waved my hand and watched the screen in real time show my actions. I was being recorded. The camera seemed to be pointing right at the couch, where Ryan and I were sitting. I saw a small red recording flash coming from the tissue box. I could see the cutout and where a tiny GoPro was placed. It was very well hidden. The toilet flushed. I grabbed the remote and tried to change it back to Netflix, but it was too late. Ryan walked out of the bathroom and saw what I was trying to do. He had this creepy smile and said that I was going to be added to his video collection. I did not need any more evidence for me to get the hell out of his house. I remember hearing Ryan begging me not to leave, almost to the point of crying, trying to grab my arm. But I didn't listen and bolted to my car and left. I got home that night and sent a message to his ex-girlfriend. I wanted to see why they had broken up and to make her aware of his creepy filming behavior in case she did not know. She messaged me back almost immediately, saying that she broke up with him because of his voyeuristic behavior. He likes to film women without their consent. That was a huge wake-up call for me. That's when I started to realize that not everything in life was sunshine and rainbows, and that some people out there are actually sick and twisted. Well, lesson learned. I will never be accepting a Netflix and chill invitation, ever again. In the beginning of 2022, my girlfriend of over a year broke up with me. I'll spare you the details, but she ended up getting with a coworker. It definitely caught me off guard, and it hurt my ego pretty badly. A few weeks after the breakup, I was still in my depressive stage. Me and this girl I knew since childhood, I'll call her Stacy, started talking on Instagram. Her boyfriend had also recently broken up with her for similar reasons, and we both kind of bonded over the pain. She was good looking, and I always felt like maybe there was something between us. So one Friday, I decided to shoot my shot. I sent her a DM, asking if she wanted to come over to my place to Netflix and chill, with a smiley face emoji. I'll admit it, waiting for her response was nerve-wracking. It was sort of a sleazeball question to ask, but I didn't care. She finally responded to my DM with a hell yes and winking emoji. I sent her my address. I told her to come over that night. We'll pick a movie on Netflix, have some drinks, and just have a good time. When Stacy got to my apartment, we hung out in my living room. I opened a bottle of wine, and we started to scroll through Netflix. And I'll be honest, I can't remember what movie we ended up watching because of obvious reasons. We ended up falling asleep on my couch with Netflix playing in the background. I woke up, dehydrated from the wine, with Stacy fast asleep on my chest. I went to grab my phone to check the time. It was 2 a.m, but I realized that I grabbed Stacy's phone and not mine. I went to put her phone down when I noticed Stacy had over 60 missed calls. It wasn't my phone, so I didn't want to snoop, but the timestamps on the calls were from 1 minute ago. Who would be blowing up her phone at 2 a.m? That's when I felt the unmistakable sense of being watched. I got up slowly, careful not to wake Stacy up. I checked my kitchen, my closets, even my peephole on my front door. Nothing. At this point, I was thinking it was the wine making me feel this way when I crossed over to my living room window. I was about to close the curtains when I saw a man in a hoodie standing right there. He was peering into my living room. I screamed at him to get away. This seemed to work. The man in the hoodie ran to the street, got into a red Mustang, and sped off. Stacy, who was now awake, stood behind me, asking what was going on. I explained about the man and the car. She checks her phone and sees the missed calls. It was her ex-boyfriend. He had tracked her through Snap Maps. He was texting and calling her, saying he'll kill her and anyone she sleeps with. The red Mustang was his. This was all too much for me, and the next day, I had to end whatever fling Stacy and I had going on. It wasn't worth it. But here's the crazy part. Not even a week later, I saw on social media that Stacy and her psycho ex-boyfriend had gotten back together. What a weird world we live in. About 3 years ago, I was living in an off-campus apartment attending Temple University in Philadelphia. I was a freshman that year, and I didn't have the best socialization skills. So in order to meet new people, specifically girls, I downloaded a bunch of dating apps. I matched with this one girl, and I'll call her Amy. We seemed to hit it off right away. She was also a freshman at Temple, looking for new relationships and friends. We really bonded over our love of Stranger Things from Netflix and B-rated horror movies. I told her that my roommate was going to be gone for the weekend and that she should come over so that we can Netflix and chill. Risky, I know, but it flowed well with our conversation. She sent laughing emojis, but agreed that she would come over. Amy got to my apartment at 9 p.m. on a Friday. She was even better looking in person than in her photos. She had brought a bottle of 1800 tequila and some chasers. Definitely my kind of girl. We took a few shots and turned on Netflix. We picked some corny love movie and started to watch it. If I'm being honest, we didn't pay attention to one scene of that movie. The night was going great. Amy seemed really into me, and we eventually put on a Netflix show that we could actually fully watch without any interruptions. But by midnight, we were both really tired and eventually fell asleep in my living room. Here's where things get very weird. Around 3 a.m, I woke up. It was super dark in my living room. I took out my cell phone for light and nearly jumped out of my skin. Amy was wide awake, sitting upright on the couch, just looking at me in the pitch black. Like, her eyes were super wide and she had this big smile. How long she had been staring at me like that in the dark, I have no clue. I gathered myself and asked her if she was okay. It's late. Amy nodded her head and asked how many children we were going to have together. I tried to laugh this off, but major alarm bells were going off in my head. She then asked if we could watch another movie. I told her no, it's 3 in the morning, I'm too tired. Amy got up from the couch, grabbed her car keys off the living room table, walked to my front door, and said that she's leaving. She slammed the door and left. I honestly was too drunk and too tired to even process this and just went back to sleep. The next morning, I got a text from Amy. It said that I was too needy for her and that I'm not her type of guy. This was hands down one of the most bizarre situations that I've ever experienced, and I never heard from her again.